I am optimistic. I'm generally a very optimistic person.
This morning, Prince William sharing some rare personal insights with Eugene Levy.
Behind the walls of Kensington Palace, a decision has been made that will reshape the future of the royal family. After months of speculation and quiet whispers, the Prince and Princess of Wales finally broke their silence, revealing news that left the nation holding its breath. The announcement, delivered not with fanfare but with a quiet dignity that has become Catherine's hallmark, came on a crisp November afternoon in 2024. Kensington Palace issued a statement that was at once deeply personal and profoundly public. The Prince and Princess would not be expanding their family here, would be no fourth child. The months of speculation, hopeful headlines, and constant questions were answered with words that reflected careful consideration and unmistakable resolve. Heartbreak swept through the public as rumors had churned relentlessly for months. Tabloids dissected every photograph, analyzed every public appearance, and searched for any hint of a growing family. When Catherine stepped back from public duties in January 2024, the whispers only intensified. Is she expecting again? Was her sudden absence from the spotlight connected? The truth, when revealed, was far more sobering than anyone had imagined. The statement itself stood out for what it conveyed about the couple's perspective. Unlike the typically polished communications from palace walls, this one carried traces of genuine emotion. It spoke openly of difficult conversations, medical realities, and the decision to prioritize health over expectation. While acknowledging the public's curiosity, it firmly conveyed the couple's careful and considered choice. William and Catherine had always approached their roles with a careful balance of tradition and modernity. They understood that public curiosity came with the territory, but they also believed that some decisions belonged solely to them. The question of whether to have another child was intensely private, yet their positions demanded they address it publicly. Their statement struck a delicate balance, providing enough information to satisfy legitimate interest while preserving the sanctity of their personal lives. The timing was deliberate. With Catherine's cancer treatment concluded in September and her gradual return to public duties underway, they chose a moment when she appeared strong, recovered, and capable. This was not a decision made from weakness or crisis, but from clarity and resolution, emphasizing that it was a choice made together with full awareness of its implications. Public reaction was predictably divided. Some expressed disappointment, invested in the narrative of a growing royal family, while others applauded their transparency and commitment to Catherine's well-being. Social media erupted with opinions. Think pieces appeared within hours, and royal commentators lined up to offer analysis. Yet beneath the noise ran a current of respect for a couple who had faced unimaginable challenges and emerged resolute in their decisions. Despite the immense challenges they faced, William and Catherine emerged with their partnership intact. The statement made no mention of medical specifics. It didn't need to UT. Those who had followed Catherine's journey through 2024 could read between the lines. The abdominal surgery, the cancer diagnosis, and the grueling months of preventative chemotherapy were not mere footnotes in a fairy tale. These were real trials that left tangible marks, both physical and emotional, and the decision about a fourth child was inseparable from these experiences. What made the announcement especially poignant was its quiet acknowledgement of dreams deferred. Sources close to the couple suggested that Catherine had, in happier times, spoken warmly of the possibility of a fourth child, and William, a devoted father, would have welcomed another addition to their family. Yet life intervened in ways neither could have predicted, and they adjusted their expectations accordingly. To understand the magnitude of this decision, one must consider the journey that brought them here, which began in the autumn of 2001 at the University of St. Andrews, where two students crossed paths: Atherine Middleton, daughter of self-made millionaires, beautiful yet grounded, and Prince William, second in line to the throne, seeking a measure of normalcy in the halls of academia. Their romance unfolded away from the intense scrutiny of royal life, setting the stage for the partnership they would carry into the future. Their friendship deepened into romance, navigating the complexities of young love while William grappled with the weight of his destiny. Catherine revealed early on the qualities that would make her an exceptional royal consort: patience, discretion, and an ability to remain centered amid chaos. She never sought the spotlight, yet she never shied away from it when duty called. Their engagement, announced in November 2010, featured a sapphire and diamond ring that had once belonged to Princess Diana, a symbolic gesture that signaled William was bringing Catherine into a family shaped by tragedy and scandal, with his mother's blessing, at least metaphorically. Their wedding in April 2011 was a global spectacle, yet it radiated an intimate joy that endeared them to the world. The family grew with deliberate spacing. Prince George arrived in July 2013, a future king born into international attention. Princess Charlotte followed in May 2015, becoming the first royal daughter in generations who would not be displaced in the line of succession by a younger brother. And Prince Louis completed the trio in April 2018, a cherubic presence quickly known for his spirited personality. Each of Catherine's pregnancies had been marked by acute morning sickness, a condition called hyperemesis gravidarum that left her hospitalized during her first pregnancy and severely debilitated during all three. The public saw only the polished appearances and radiant photographs taken shortly after each birth, never the weeks of misery that preceded those moments: weight loss, dehydration, and sheer physical toll of carrying a child under constant scrutiny. Yet Catherine managed it each time with a grace that seemed effortless, reshaping the narrative around royal motherhood. She appeared in public hours after giving birth, not because protocol demanded it, but because she chose to, demonstrating both strength and agency. She had also been open about the challenges of parenting while fulfilling her royal duties, offering a glimpse into the reality behind the carefully curated image. And countless small ways, William and Catherine had modernized an institution resistant to change. The question of a fourth child had lingered since Louis's birth. Royal families had historically been large. Elizabeth and Prince Philip had 4 children. As had the Queen's own parents, times had changed, and so had expectations. William and Catherine were forging their own path, prioritizing quality over quantity and presence over protocol. Still, there had been hints they might expand their family further. Catherine was often photographed cooing over infants during public engagements, and she had spoken warmly about the baby stage. William even joked during a 2020 visit to Northern Ireland that they needed to be kept away from new parents to avoid temptation. These moments fueled speculation and hope, yet beneath the humor and tenderness lay practical realities. 3 children meant one for each adult hand during travels without staff, fitting into standard vehicles and accommodations without extraordinary arrangements, and William candidly noted, "Hey, we're outnumbered but not overwhelmed." January 2024 began like any other at Kensington Palace, following the holidays at Sandringham, with the children back at school and Catherine preparing for a spring schedule of engagements. Then came the announcement that stopped everything. The Princess of Wales had been admitted to a London clinic for planned abdominal surgery. The statement regarding Catherine's surgery was deliberately vague, describing the procedure as successful and unrelated to cancer. She remained hospitalized for up to 2 weeks before returning home to continue her recovery and was expected to be away from public duties until after Easter, a timeline that underscored the seriousness of the intervention. The nation waited anxiously for updates. William was photographed leaving the hospital, his face etched with concern, while the children continued their routines, shielded from media attention through their parents' wishes and the cooperation of a press corps respecting boundaries rarely afforded to royals. When Catherine was finally discharged 13 days later, photographers captured only a fleeting glimpse of her mauler, more fragile than the vital woman the public had always known. She returned to Adelaide Cottage in Windsor to spend several weeks away from official duties. In March, she and William appeared in a video message from the Gardens of Windsor, where Catherine revealed the truth. Tests following her surgery had found cancer, and she was undergoing a course of preventative chemotherapy. She asked for privacy for her family, particularly their children. The diagnosis hit the nation like a physical blow. At just 42, Catherine embodied health and vitality, yet faced the same disease that affects millions, regardless of title or privilege. The vulnerability in her voice, the determined set of her shoulders, and William's protective hand resting on her knee spoke volumes about the challenges ahead. Medical experts explained that preventative chemotherapy, administered after surgery to eliminate any remaining cancer cells, can have brutal side effects: fatigue, nausea, hair loss, and compromised immune function, leaving patients feeling worse than before their diagnosis. Catherine endured months of treatment, missing some public events like Trooping the Colour in June, yet later surprised everyone by appearing on the balcony, thin but smiling, demonstrating remarkable resilience and commitment to her duties. Catherine carefully managed each public appearance during her recovery, attending Wimbledon, a cherished tradition, and receiving a standing ovation that brought many to tears. Every engagement was timed for when she felt strong enough to face cameras and crowds. In September, she announced that her treatment had concluded, bringing palpable relief while acknowledging that recovery would not be immediate. Chemotherapy leaves lasting effects, and the body needs time to heal, regain strength, and remember what normal feels like. For a woman in her early 40s, who had already endured 3 difficult pregnancies and 9 months of treatment, the prospect of another pregnancy was far from simple. Medical professionals speaking anonymously emphasized that pregnancy after cancer treatment is possible but requires careful consideration of timing, body recovery, and potential hormone-related risks. Amid these realities, Catherine and William also focused on their 3 children. Prince George turned 11 in July 2024, carrying the maturity shaped by circumstances no child should face. As second in line to the throne, he bears responsibilities that his siblings do not, yet his parents have fiercely protected his childhood, allowing him to attend Lamrook School alongside Charlotte and Louis, play soccer, take swimming lessons, and participate in school events. George understood more than his parents might have wished when Catherine fell ill, demonstrating bravery and a protective instinct toward his younger siblings. Princess Charlotte, 9, shared her mother's poise and her father's determination, offering comfort during Catherine's illness and strengthening their bond, while also holding a unique place in the modern monarchy as fourth in line, protected by 2013 succession reforms. Prince Louis, the youngest at 6, provided comic relief in the darkest moments, his antics bringing light and laughter to the family amid adversity. Prince Louis, with his uninhibited joy and complete lack of awareness of his own significance, has endeared himself to millions. During Catherine's treatment, he remained unmistakably himself, demanding attention, offering sticky-fingered affection, and reminding his parents that life continues even when it feels suspended. William and Catherine's parenting philosophy has been shaped by their own experiences. William grew up in the gilded cage of palace life, his childhood marked by his parents' acrimonious separation and his mother's tragic death when he was just 15. He has spoken openly about the therapy he required to process that trauma and the years it took to find peace. Determined to provide his children with what he lacked: two loving parents, stability, privacy when possible, and agency over their own narratives, he has collaborated with Catherine, who brings a different perspective from her upbringing in Bucklebury. Her childhood was comfortable yet normal, filled with family holidays, village activities, and an appreciation for ordinariness and responsibility. Together, William and Catherine have created an environment that honors both the extraordinary circumstances of royal life and the fundamental humanity of their children. 3 children fit this vision perfectly. George, Charlotte, and Louis form a tight unit, each with defined roles and personalities that complement one another. Adding a 4th child would have shifted the dynamics of the family in both predictable and unknown ways. Louis would be at least 7 years older than a new sibling, transforming the household from 3 contemporaries to 3 older children and a baby. Beyond practical concerns, there was the question of attention and presence. William and Catherine have always aimed to be hands-on parents, not in the performative sense of past generations, but in everyday school runs, bedtime stories, and homework help. They already struggled to balance increasing royal duties with family commitments, and another child could have strained that balance to the breaking point. The conversation about a 4th child had been ongoing for years but gained new urgency after Catherine's diagnosis. In quiet moments between treatments, during long sleepless nights, William and Catherine discussed their children, their marriage, their health, and whether a 4th child was realistic. Catherine, from a close family of 3 siblings, had often spoken warmly of large families and might have welcomed another baby under ideal circumstances. But this was not an ideal world, and the decision required clear-eyed pragmatism. William's perspective reflected his intimate knowledge of what Catherine had endured: 3 difficult pregnancies, hospitalization with hyperemesis gravidarum, the physical and emotional toll of royal life, and the demands of raising 3 young children. Consulting medical professionals, including Catherine's oncology team, offered cautious guidance. Another pregnancy was theoretically possible if sufficient time passed and her health remained stable, but theory and lived reality were very different. Catherine understood her body's limits: major surgery, months of chemotherapy, and the lingering effects of age and illness had left their marks. King Charles, facing his own cancer diagnosis in February 2024, was unwavering in his support, prioritizing Catherine's health above all and affirming that the family they already had was complete. Queen Camilla, having navigated her own complicated path to acceptance within the royal family, offered Catherine perspective and reassurance, reminding her that there was no script to follow and no expectation worth sacrificing her well-being to meet. The monarchy would adapt, as it always had. Public opinion, while not determinative, also played a role. Polls conducted throughout 2024 showed overwhelming support for Catherine and genuine concern for her recovery, with a majority agreeing that the decision to have more children should remain personal. William and Catherine also considered their existing children: George, Charlotte, and Louis, who had adapted to their family size, each with their own dynamics and sense of how the household functioned. Adding a sibling would require adjustments from all of them, particularly given the recent medical challenges. The final decision crystallized during a private conversation in late October at Anmer Hall, their Norfolk country retreat, as they watched the children play in the garden. Their family was complete, not from limitation but by choice, made from gratitude for what they already had rather than longing for what they did not. While the announcement may seem personal, it carries institutional weight, signaling evolving attitudes within the monarchy, changing public expectations, and the balance between duty and humanity that defines modern royalty. For the immediate line of succession, practical implications are minimal. George remains second in line, Charlotte fourth, and Louis fifth, ensuring long-term stability and removing the historical rationale for large royal families. Comparisons with other European monarchies show a similar trend towards smaller families, reflecting broader societal shifts regarding family size and work-life balance. Catherine's decision also represents a quiet revolution in perceptions of royal women, prioritizing health and personal choice over traditional expectations, a shift that has been met with overwhelmingly supportive public response. The public response has suggested that the British people have evolved in their relationship with the monarchy. While fascination with royal life remains, there is increasing respect for boundaries and acknowledgement that royals are human beings with rights to privacy and self-determination. This support was particularly evident during Catherine's health journey. Despite early speculation, the overall media tone was measured and respectful, a stark contrast to the invasive coverage that characterized earlier eras. The decision not to have a fourth child also allows William and Catherine to focus fully on their royal duties, deepening William's work on homelessness and conservation and expanding Catherine's initiatives on early childhood development, while increasing their global presence and patronage commitments. For George, Charlotte, and Louis, the family unit remained stable, enabling them to develop strong sibling bonds without the disruption of a new baby. Beyond the family, this choice humanizes the monarchy, showing that even future kings and queens make decisions rooted in love, health, and practicality. Critics who argue for larger royal families seem out of step with contemporary values, as 3 children already exceeds the average family size in Britain, and the Wales children are well positioned to continue the line. Moving forward, the focus will shift to watching George, Charlotte, and Louis grow, observing William and Catherine mature into their roles, and seeing how the family balances extraordinary responsibilities with ordinary joys. The confirmation that they will not have a fourth child marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. A decision born of love, shaped by adversity, and made with full awareness of its implications, demonstrating the wisdom, compassion, and courage that will define them as exceptional future monarchs.